It's a challenging time to be a teacher. We don't get paid a lot, the days can be long and exhausting, demands from students, parents, admins, and districts can be intense. There's always room for improvement and there is always more to do. There are always new procedures to learn, new programs to run, new strategies to master. But it's when our fire burns the lowest that we remember our purpose. We teach because we're resilient. We teach because we're problem solvers. We teach because investing in kids is one of the highest callings we can imagine. We teach because we know that the classroom can be a place of magic and possibility. We teach because we have an unquenchable fire for learning and a passion to share it. We teach because our colleagues are some of the best human beings we will ever meet. We teach because we have an opportunity to influence the global citizens that will make this world a better place. If you're still on fire for learning and growth, join the Teachers on Fire Roundtable for conversations that will warm your heart, spark your thinking, and ignite your practice. You'll hear from real people and real educators with real solutions, not make-believe perfection, but ideas, inspiration, and a path toward change and transformation in K-12 education today. My name is Tim Cavey. I'm an 8th grade teacher, assistant principal, and the host of the Teachers on Fire podcast. I'm inviting you to join us at the Teachers on Fire Roundtable. Because you matter, your voice is important, and we are all better together. Good morning, Teachers on Fire. It's so good to be here with you this morning. Happy New Year.
Welcome
to
Happy
2022. That's right.
Happy New Year.
Here we are all gathered together, hopefully not nursing any hangovers. We did the responsible thing, got a great sleep last night, and here we are to talk about One Word 2022. So what is One Word? What's it all about? It comes, as far as I can tell, from a book written by John Gordon a few years ago called One Word That Will Change Your Life. And if you're interested in the concept, I encourage you to dig a little deeper yourself. But for now, we're going to dig right into our one words. So, as I go across the panel, I'm going to ask them to, each guest, each friend and colleague, to quickly introduce themselves and then just talk about what is your one word 2022 and how will it change your life. Panel, are you ready? Come on, give me a ready.
We are ready to go.
All right. Well, hopefully I can do this in order. I've got a few people on the line here, but I want to go first to Fonz, my friend Fonz, and I guess I'm going to try to do this in alphabetical order. So Fonz, over to you.
All right, everybody. Hi, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. Tim, thank you so much for the invite. And as always, I'm just glad to be here and connect with some wonderful educators here and continually grow my PLF, my personal learning family. So I'm really excited to be here. And for this year, my one word is going to be continuity. Last year, my word was create, and I must say that it was a very, very creative year as I was able to hit 100 episodes for the My EdTech Life podcast, which I host. So that right there is a feat on its own. And then also being able to blog and do some presentations and just put out just content that I feel will be beneficial to all educators. So I'm really thankful for that. And so what I want to do this year is I just want to continue that process. So my word is continuity. And then the definition here that I found was uninterrupted connection, succession or union. And I found this great quote by a great author, C.S. Lewis, that says, growth is the synthesis of change and continuity. And where there is no continuity, there is no growth. So for me, this year is definitely a year to continue to grow professionally as I continue my studies, definitely looking to get into different spaces in the ed tech world or in higher ed. So I'm looking forward to that and just to continue to create, bring some amazing content to other educators. Obviously with the goal in mind of My EdTech Life to connect educators and creators one show at a time and inspire those that are just on the brink of wanting to do something like this, just to encourage you to just hit record, put yourself out there and just do it. Just do it, and you'll see how just people will definitely love what you put out. And don't be scared. Don't be shy to reach out to any of us, and just to continue to grow your professional learning family as well. So I'm thankful to be here again, Tim. Thank you so much.
Fonz, that was awesome. What a way to kick things off. Thank you so much. Love your word continuity. All right, and you do such a good job. And I also wanted to congratulate you once again on 100 episodes. That's amazing. On to our next person on the panel. Debbie, introduce yourself and talk about your one word 2022.
Absolutely. Following Fonz. Wow. I'm Debbie Tannenbaum, and I am an ed tech coach in Northern Virginia in an elementary school. And my one word for 2022 is momentum. To kind of give some background on one word, this is my third year doing one word. In 2020, I used the word challenge. My big challenge for 2020 was to work on writing a book. In 2021, I went to transformation, and last year on my birthday, in fact, my book was published. Yay!
Yes.
And so that was super exciting. I've had a lot of amazing things happen in 2021, but besides my book, also getting to present at all sorts of places and growing my blogging, and just so many other amazing things. I became a small business owner, all sorts of cool things. And so many amazing things have happened to me in this past year. It's really, really important to me to make sure that I keep this going. As
I
last
love.
year,
Mhm.
sorry, as last year finished, I really, there's so many things that I want to do, but I've also learned new things that I want to do. So really trying, and the definition I found of momentum is the strength or force that allows something to continue or grow stronger or faster as time passes. And so for this year coming up, I just want to continue working on my health journey. I want to try to build my leadership skills, and that content and that reflection are all super important things for me as we move on.
Great word, Debbie. You saw Pav's note here. I'll put it up again on
I
the screen. She
saw.
says, loving continuity from Fonz and momentum from Debbie. Great words of propulsion. And I love that action as well. If you're not familiar with Debbie, make sure you give her a follow. One thing that impresses me about Debbie is how much presenting she does. She is all over the place. So keep up that momentum, Debbie. Eve, now I'm having trouble this morning finding all the faces. They're smaller than they normally are here in my control panel, but Eve, over to you.
Great. Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to come on the show. This is my first time doing this, so I'm very excited. My one word for I'm sorry, for to introduce myself. My name is Eve Heaton, and I am an educational tech coach in Beaufort, South Carolina. And my one word for 2022 is to notice more. So the word is notice. And the idea behind it is that it's a reminder sort of to look beyond the big moments to see sort of the small things. So creative thinking, random acts of kindness, effort. And we tend to sort of look at big moments. And for me this year, I want to sort of bring it down a little bit and look at those small sort of hidden gems that we miss sometimes. Now, last year I used the word focus, and I had a bracelet made on Etsy that had the word, so that kind of I wore it day to day on that. And I'm really trying to get my teachers to sort of jump on board with this concept. So I made 3 graphics, which you see on the screen right now. And the first one I made using Google Drawings. We also have Adobe Creative Cloud Express in our district. So I made a flyer, which probably be a little bit easier for students than making something from scratch with Google Drawings. And I use a Canva template right there. So those are my 3 graphics. I did also get the book, the children's book. I don't know if have you guys all seen this one, One Word for Kids. And it's actually pretty good. I read through it. It's a picture book. It's not really good for a new year, I would say, more for the beginning of a school year. But I think it's a cool grab for teachers if they want to get that.
Eve, that is so great. I have not seen that before. I work in a middle school context. Would that be appropriate there, do you think?
It's a little too, it's really designed for elementary. So I taught middle school science prior to becoming a tech coach, and I taught upper elementary. And I would probably say upper elementary lower elementary, but definitely I think middle schoolers would be thinking that's a little juvenile for them. But it's a good read. It's a good book. It's a good way to present the concept of a one-word challenge. The teacher in the book gives them a week to come up with their one word. That's a little excessive, I think, as an former elementary school teacher. Sure. But I did think it was a good way to sort of introduce the concept.
All right. And my camera appears to be frozen, but that's okay. We'll figure that out and go on to our next person. We've got Jillian. Jillian, talk about your one word 2022.
Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. This is like just so exciting because I just always feel like Fonz said, this is our family. This is something that we have created, that we have delved into together with resilience and inspiration. So thank you all for being here and for allowing me to be here with you. I am Jillian. I'm a second grade educator in Clearwater, Florida. I'm also the chief optimistic originator of Imparted Joy, LLC. So I'm an author, illustrator, publisher of children's books. And yeah, so that is me. This is the second year I have done one word. And last year I used a word that had dual content. Actually, it was the word content. It was content and content. So, and the ability to, be a verb and a noun at the same time, I really felt like I achieved that last year. I felt like I grew in the fact that I was creating content, but that I was also content in who I was as a professional and personally. So respondability is my word this year, tuning into the ability to respond with great responsibility. And oh my goodness, there's so much that I could say about this mashed up word, right? Responding, responsibility. So I really want to focus this year on thinking before I respond. I'm a reactor. I love to have control. I love to know the plan and know the purpose behind everything, anytime, anywhere. And that always doesn't happen. And so what happens with that is I react or I respond in ways that probably aren't the best. So I'm really going to tune in this year to less reacting, letting go, leaning into the joy that I know that is there that needs to be cultivated, being insanely grateful for myself and being able to reach out without hesitation and have anybody, I want to include everybody on this journey with me. So hitting that pause button and just thinking before responding.
So good, Jillian. That's sort of where I anticipated you might be going. Having that margin for others is really a challenge sometimes. We all deal with it, and I think that's a great word to go forward with. So I don't know if we should hold you to that or not. We kind of don't want you to go away, but I think that's a great goal to strive for. Okay, Matthew, over to you.
All right, Tim, thank you, number one, for having me on. Everyone, it's very nice to meet you. This is my first time doing this, and I've now heard my word, I believe, twice already this morning. I think Jill just shared it, and I think it was in the introduction. But my word is purpose, and it's my word for, I guess, two reasons. One, to ensure my own personal purpose is, being fulfilled. But also the purpose behind basically everything I do with students each and every day. So I'm Matthew Strine. I work right outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in a very small school district. The way I've explained this before is I've kind of rounded the bases in K-12 education. I was a teacher, a tech coach, a tech director, a principal, and now I'm back in the classroom teaching middle school and high school every day. So in terms of purpose, it's kind of, is this where I'm meant to be? So that's a much deeper, heavier than 11 a.m. on New Year's Day morning question. But as for, the students, it's, am I doing everything, with great intent? I tell students all the time that I'm very meticulous and very intentional about what I do. Tim, I don't know if you're able to pull up my word.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's okay. You're a busy guy here this morning. Thank you. Yeah, but the one thing I put down there, and again, this is just something that I try to do when I can. But I ran into some gentlemen somewhere in the online world this summer, and they have a program called Teach Different. So I teach robotics and computer science, but more than anything, I think I'm somewhere around 17 and a half years into my educational journey. But I tell them the most important thing I teach you has nothing to do with STEM. It has everything to do with just living. And it's just the idea to be a better person. So Teach Different is nice in the sense that we have a very, whether or not you agree with me, we have a very polarized world these days. And Teach Different is a way to use a simple quote, give students the ability to analyze what that quote is, but then also look at it from a different perspective, which really gives students a chance to think, oh, wait, maybe everyone doesn't think and feel the same way I do. And then there's an essential question, but it's, I'm not getting paid to say this. It's just something that I've really enjoyed. I've got to know the guys that create, the content. But again, why am I doing it? I'm very intentional about the conversations that I use with the students, so that they see, again, a greater purpose to everything.
Such a great word. Thank you so much, Matthew. And it's such a pleasure to meet you and connect. I was just sort of watching, listening, and I forgot to share your beautiful slide here. So thank you for your patience there. Okay, let's see who we've got next. Next up, going alphabetically, it's Pam.
So happy
over to
New
you.
Year, everybody. I'm Pamela Hall, a multi-national award-winning teacher and passionate educator from Virginia, and I currently teach STEM. So Matt, I'd love to connect. But I want to tell you, everyone thought my one word was going to be warrior, because my book, Be Their Warrior, is being released in 23 days. But that is not my one word. I was out running one day and I was super sad because I had family drama. Maybe you can relate. But being super sad, hundreds and hundreds of birds flew over my head. And I looked up. And when I looked up, I felt better. And it reminded me of a story. When birds are flying in that V formation, they are helping each other with lift. And that gives them a 71% advantage. So I knew then that my word was lift. And lift means raise to a higher position. So that's what I plan to do this year. Help others get to a higher position as well as myself, and raise their spirits and raise their confidence. So that is what I'm planning to do this year, is lift up others. We are better together. In fact, if we're like the geese, we're 71% better. And here's the thing, lift is measurable. So I can ask myself, did I lift 3 people today? Did I lift myself up and work toward 3 of my goals today? So I just encourage you to find your word and think about how it relates to you relationally, personally, professionally, and how will you measure it? And so anyway, I'm here to lift you up, everybody.
That is perfect, Pamela. And I have to say, I really appreciate the SMART angle that you brought in there. It's measurable, it's quantifiable, and I think so many times some of the New Year's resolution hater types over on the side will say that, oh, there's nothing, you're throwing out these words and there's no follow-up. And I can tell you've got that accountability and tracking ready to go. Is that something, I'm putting you on the spot here, but is that something you're actually going to follow up on and say, did I reach out to 3 people today and so on?
Absolutely. Awesome. So I plan, and I encourage everyone to do this. Put your one word at the beginning in your planning, whatever it is you use on a daily basis. So if you use the Keep Notes or Google Calendar, but I'm going to put it at the top of my agenda every single day. It will hold me accountable throughout the year when all this excitement wears off.
So good. Okay, thank you so much, Pamela. That is definitely uplifting. Just before we go to Sean, I want to say thanks if you are joining us live or on the replay. Let us know if you are brave enough. Let us know what your one word 2022 is, and share a little bit about it. We've got a comment here from Margaret, who's a faithful follower on LinkedIn. She says, my one word for 2022 is connections. Human connections are imperative. Lean in a bit more and reach out to all students and colleagues. Sprinkles of joy will find us. There you go, Jillian. Happy New Year to everyone from Winnipeg. That's great to see. I was just in Winnipeg a couple of weeks ago. And Mark is back saying, love hearing the backstory for these words. We do too. Thanks, Mark. Okay, Sean, over to you.
Morning, everybody. I'm Sean Moriarty. I teach social studies history in central Massachusetts. And for my one word, I chose persistence, which kind of comes in handy today. The last few days, I've actually been a bit under the weather and battling with a little fever and such. And almost had backed out, but then I kind of thought about the irony of that, chosen my word and all.
Yeah.
So we're persisting all the same. So apologies for my voice and such. But in general, persistence, I think these last 18 plus months, 2 years, we've had to pivot and learn and adjust and iterate and do all sorts of different things. And I know for a lot of people, it's worn folks down in various ways. We have a lot of different things that we are currently dealing with, and who knows how long this is going to continue in that regard. So for me, the big word, not just for myself, but for my students and so forth, personally, professionally, is persistence, continuing on, pushing forward. To quote the famed philosopher Nemo or Dory, whichever one it was, just keep swimming. And I think that is kind of the thing that we need to do. It's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be fun or enjoyable. But when you're doing something that is worthwhile, when you're doing something that is important, something that is integral, then being persistent is a necessity. And it's something that is the only way that's going to get you there. It's not going to be, teaching is not the sort of thing where you stumble upon success and it comes easy and so forth. And so you need to be persistent. You need to be dogged in that determination. And I threw in that quote there from Franklin, that energy and persistence conquer all things. So regardless of what it is, whether it is teaching, whether it is battling an illness, whether it is an athletic endeavor, or whatever sort of personal or professional adversity that you're dealing with, persistence is what you need to be in order to succeed.
So good. Definitely appropriate, Sean, in the age of COVID. And we can hope and pray that COVID leaves us this year, or by the end of the year, who knows what the situation will look like. But persistence, absolutely. We will hold you to that one. Well, it's over to me, and I'm happy to share what my word ended up being. I sort of wrestled with this and had a few different alternatives through the week, but I think I've settled on this word, and that is invest. And no, it's not strictly financial. I did do sort of a look back on my first year of active investing, but that whole topic got me thinking about just the bigger picture, this concept of investing in many different areas of life. So very quickly, as I make my way around the tree, I want to invest in family. We've got a senior, a 12th grader this year who is graduating and moving on to college. So we want to invest in him. At about the 10 o'clock position there on my tree, I've got push-ups, which Jillian knows all about, and I've got green shakes. So I want to help my heart out and make sure I'm drinking some leafy greens every morning. That's a new goal. I'm usually pretty hard on the coffee, not enough greens. So give my heart a bit of a break. I want to, at 12 o'clock there, those are teachers. I want to continue to invest in my teaching team. That's one of the true joys of my current position as vice principal in a small middle school. And then at about the 2 o'clock position, as I mentioned, I started for the very first time starting to invest in retirement. And I mean, in addition to whatever our schools and districts offer us in terms of pensions. So I finally started to experiment in the market, and it was a very encouraging year. Things went really well. So I want to continue learning more about that area. I've got some colleagues. We've got an investing chat at my school. And they are keen. Wow, do they know a lot? So it's like this group of 10 teachers who every day there are insights and ideas about investing. I also have a younger brother, a kid brother, who is all about the crypto. So I want to learn more about crypto from him. And then finally, I want to continue investing in the content. And I know several of you are right here in the space. Fonz, most of all, does very similar work. And so, Fonz, when it comes to YouTube and these different platforms, it's all about investing, right? It's all about sowing the seeds and doing the work and looking for growth over time. It's not going to be overnight. That's not how content works. I know Jillian and others know what I'm talking about there. So that's my word. Trying to just use everything at my disposal, the resources and the connections that I've been blessed with, and just optimize them, maximize them in the best ways that I can for future growth for not just myself, but my family and others as well. All right, I'm just trying to make sure I don't overlook anyone. I know we had one person who was not able to join us. Okay, so that is it. Folks, that was wonderful. I hope I can ask you to hang around for just one more quick lightning round. I think it would be great as we go out to let people know how they can connect with you, but also as I think about, I'm always thinking about protecting our fire. That's the name of the podcast, and the channel is Teachers on Fire. So thinking about giving teachers an idea to avoid burnout this year. We all heard about how 2021 was so difficult, and to move back toward that fire that drew us into the profession. Have you got one daily practice, habit, app, hack, whatever it might be that you could share that really helps you stay on fire? So I'll try to mix things up a little bit, and maybe I'll start from on my screen, the bottom right corner, and move my way across the bottom. Matt, we'll start with you, or Matthew. First of all, again, how can we connect with you? And then also, what is one daily habit or practice that helps you stay on fire?
I'm going to say this, and no offense to you, Tim, as you are a vice principal. But I guess be content with where you're at, because like I've said, I kind of climbed the proverbial ladder. And I spent my most years in education as a principal. And I was so burnt out that I left, and I actually went to the financial world. And now I found myself back. So I think it's just being content. And it goes back to my word purpose, in terms of I've done what I consider just about everything that I could do in education, and I feel very content. So just being there and being present, connecting with me at MDS for the kids. Sometimes when I'm thinking, I'm just like, wait a second, why am I doing what I'm doing? That's MDS for the kids says it all. I'm doing this for the kids. MDS for the kids at gmail.com if you want to email me. But yeah, I'll be glad to connect with any and all of you out there. And again, Tim, thanks so much for this opportunity here today.
Hey, Matthew, that was great. And no offense taken. You're taking me back to an 8th grade class I had 3 years ago that told me it's FERDA instead of for the. It's FERDA boys or FERDA MDS kids. So that's what the gamers might say. But I love that. And it's right there in your handle, always orienting you and giving you that North Star. All right, Eve, how can we connect with you and that one daily habit or practice that you could pass on?
All right. So to reach out, I'm on Twitter at A Tech Coach Life. So it's on the screen as well. So please feel free to follow me. And actually, I'm going to say that one thing that I do each day that I think helps motivate me is actually go to Twitter. And I think that's kind of, unusual, but like in the morning, I kind of scroll through and I get so many great ideas, and I get so motivated by educators who are doing really phenomenal stuff that motivates me. So I think recently somebody posted about a digital like paint night, and I went and watched that video for an hour, and I literally spent like a couple of hours making a digital portrait using Google Drawings, and that, and I was able to share that on my social media and share it with we have an EdTech Facebook group for our district, because I would like to take those ideas and take those things that I find on Twitter and inspire other people with them. So it's not just about inspiring myself to do more or create more. It's also about passing that on to our teachers and trying to get them excited and try new things and just kind of get out of your comfort zone a little bit.
Eve, that was so good. And, when I saw your slide and that caricature you did of yourself, I thought, I wonder if she was a part of that Google Drawing Paint Night. So there it is. So
yeah,
good.
And actually I saw it like later. So
Okay.
I didn't participate live, but
Okay.
But thanks for the feedback.
Yeah. Sean, over to you. How can we connect, and one habit or suggestion?
Sure. The best place to catch me is on Twitter, where I am at Moriarty History, Moriarty History. And then I have an Instagram that I've set up school-wide, and I'm dipping my toes and kind of just experimenting a little bit with the whole TikTok thing.
Yes.
Very lightly, though. And on there, it's for both the Instagram and the TikTok, it's at Moriarty OXPS, being the district I'm in. And then in terms of my reminders, my beacons, I have some right here on this little bulletin board to my right, and I have a number of them more in my classroom right next to the teacher's desk there, where it's notes and drawings and letters or emails or cards or whatever it's been from different students in years past, because it's so easy, for better or for worse, to forget that anything and everything we do can have tremendous impact on our kids, whether we think it's something that's quick and easy, whether we think it's something inconsequential. We just never know what that's going to do, for better or for worse, and keeping that in mind so that you're doing it for the better, and keeping that helps me, because for me, I like to do what I do because I know I'm making an impact and trying to make a difference and trying to push people forward. And so having these little tangible reminders that are there that help us explain what we're doing, why we're doing it, why it's important. That's my little reminder every day.
I have a friend here in BC who calls it her sunshine wall, and I think that's a great practice for sure. It's good advice to have that constant source of reminders about why we do what we do. Debbie, over to you.
So I'm Debbie Tannenbaum. You can find me on pretty much all social media except TikTok. I haven't tried that yet, at Tannenbaum Tech.
Come on over.
I'm most active on Twitter, but I'm spending more and more time on LinkedIn and Instagram and trying to do stuff like that. I am a very active blogger, and so I blog on my website, Tannenbaum Tech, and I also am a regular blogger for the Teach Better team. I do a series called Tech Better. As far as advice, the thing I found that's been most meaningful for me is really my morning routine, and I know morning routines are different for everyone. Last year, I kind of based it on my one word, and I had certain things I wanted to do, and I'm trying to do that again, but really making sure I spend time in my morning routine taking care of my health in some way, whether I'm exercising or whether I'm doing something that's health related, making sure I take time to do some sort of learning or reading, making sure I take time to reflect, and then also thinking about what am I going to do during the day that's going to help empower others, whether it's through blogging or speaking or maybe, co-teaching at school, or what am I going to do that's going to help others and also help me grow as an educator. So I've found that if I do that in the morning, then no matter what the day holds, I've already had a real big success for each day.
Sounds good. I'm a big morning fan as well. Jillian, over to you.
Hey, everyone. So you can find me right here at Twitter most of the time, Jill DuBois 22. And like Eve said, I try and check in every day with my Twitter family just because it is that safe space where I get so much inspiration and encouragement. So last year, Fonz and I were talking on his podcast, and he said, "Hey, Jillian, so just one question. If you had a billboard, what would be on your billboard?" And Fonz, that has stuck with me like all of these months. And my billboard would say, "Be the joy." And you guys, not just happiness, not just kind of like an external like thing that's going to disappear. It's cultivating that inner internal harmony that we all have within us. So, so much so that I even 3 days ago, yes, made it permanent. So I'm telling you, there is nothing like that. And I know that there are times when we don't feel that joy, but we can always dig down and find it somewhere with something. Like Margaret Murray said on her little comment, sprinkles of joy. Yes, they're everywhere, you guys.
The brand's getting pretty real when it's in ink. Awesome. Love that. Pamela, over to you, and then Fonz.
So the way that I stay on fire is I do have a morning routine and I pray. So I start with just saying, "Hey, Lord, what is it that will help me serve others and keep me on fire today?" And then we all know that we are body, soul, and mind. So I follow 6 steps. And those 6 steps keep me strong. And the S is stop and remember your why. And so I do this every day and I journal. And then T, take time to think. I call it the daily trio. So there's 3 things that I purposefully write down that I'm thankful for and expressing gratitude. And then STR, I rest and revive. And reviving isn't just laying around. For me, I actually exercise and I get out in nature, and that keeps me on fire. So STRO, I omit negative. If it is something that brings me down, then I strip it from my life. N, I never give up. So whoever had that word persistent, I think it was maybe Sean, that I don't give up on kids or myself or others that I love in my family. And then G, going deeper. So professionally and personally, I keep growing. I learn from every single one of you on this panel. And if I didn't grow and learn, I'd be stagnant and I would not be on fire. So those are the things. It's one step, but it's one thing, 6 steps. And you can find me at my website and finish reading about my one word at pamhall2inspire.com. And I would just love community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pamela, and congrats again on the book. Fonz, over to you, my friend.
All right. I'm just so excited. Like I said, to me, I guess, well, number one, you can find me pretty much on any social media at Maya Tech Life. I recently got into TikTok and it blew up like crazy thanks to some of the clips from the podcast. And so I'm just really thankful for that community. But likewise, just where I find my fire, very similar to Pam. I start my day off 4:30 in the morning. Prayer is the most important thing, prayer day and night. And then wake up, I'll do some walking, do some reading for that personal, professional growth, and really just live my day to try and serve others as best as I can. And oftentimes, you do get tested, but, it's just looking at things through a different lenses. And I think what I have learned it has been that just trying to see things from that person's lens as to why they may be having a bad day. Maybe they're just, things that they're struggling with, and see how I can make their day a little bit better. And like you said, Tim, with what we do as far as our shows and podcasts, it's like you just simply plant those seeds. We don't know when the fruit will be, or when the fruit will come, but we know that we are investing that time with those sprinkles of joy, like many of you said. But the return on investment will be great, as we know that we are making a difference. So for me, that's really what drives me, what motivates me. It's just a passion for people, a passion for education, and just to make a difference in someone's heart that day. So that is what drives me.
So good. Thank you, Fonz. And to wrap things up and sort of finish off this round, I'll drop in one more suggestion in terms of keeping your fire, educators. And that is, it's a very practical one, and that is leaving the phone out of the bedroom at night. I know it's a really hard one for a lot of people, but there is something, I'm telling you, if your phone is on a different floor of the house at night, it just puts your brain in a different space, and you're actually free to relax and interact and read and do all these other wonderful things that have nothing to do with social media or emails from your district. So that's my suggestion. Thank you again so much, everyone, for joining me today. I know we had a few technical glitches here as we went through the show, but honestly, I am so inspired to hear all of your visions for this coming year, and I wish you well as you proceed, as you continue to learn, grow, and inspire others. Thank you so much, everyone. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank
everybody.
you.
All right, and there we go.